Naaman, the leader of the military of the king of Syria, was a great and honorable man with his Lord, for through him the Lord gave deliverance to Syria, and he was a strong and rich man, but a leper. Now there had gone out robbers from Syria, and they had led away captive from the land of Israel a little girl, and she was in the service of the wife of Naaman. And she said to her lady, I wish that my Lord had been with the prophet who is in Samaria. Then certainly he would have cured him of the leprosy that he has. And so Naaman entered to his Lord, and he reported it, saying, The girl from the land of Israel spoke in this way. And the king of Syria said, Go, and I will send a letter to the king of Israel. And when he had set out, he had taken with him 10 talents of silver, and 6,000 gold coins, and 10 changes of fine clothing. And he brought the letter to the king of Israel in these words, When you will receive this letter, know that I have sent to you Naaman, my servant, so that you may heal him of his leprosy. And when the king of Israel had read the letter, he tore his garments, and he said, Am I God, so that I could kill or give life, that this man sends to me, so that I might heal a man from his leprosy? Take notice and see that he is seeking occasions against me. But when Elisha, the man of God, had heard this, namely, that the king of Israel had torn his garments, he sent to him, saying, Why have you torn your garments? Let him come to me, and let him know that there is a prophet in Israel. Therefore Naaman arrived with his horses and chariots, and he stood at the door of the house of Elisha. And Elisha sent a messenger to him, saying, Go and wash 7 times in the Jordan, and your flesh will be restored to you, and you will be clean. And Naaman was angry, and he turned away, saying, I thought that he would have come out to me, and standing would have invoked the name of the Lord his God, and that he would have touched the place of the leprosy with his hand, and so have healed me. Are not the Abana and the Pharpar, the rivers of Damascus, better than all the waters of Israel, so that I might wash in them and be clean? And so as he turned himself away and was departing with indignation, his servants approached him, and they said to him, Father, if the prophet had told you to do something great, would you not have done it? How much more so, now that he has said to you, Wash and you will be clean? Then he descended and washed in the Jordan 7 times, according to the word of the man of God. And his flesh was restored like the flesh of a little child, and he was made clean. And returning to the man of God, with his entire retinue, he arrived and stood before him, and he said, Truly, I know that there is no other God in all the earth, except in Israel.
Athirst is my soul for the living God. When shall I go and behold the face of God? As the deer longs for the running waters, so my soul longs for you, O God. Athirst is my soul for the living God. When shall I go and behold the face of God? My soul thirsts for God, the living God. When can I enter and see the face of God? Athirst is my soul for the living God. When shall I go and behold the face of God? Send forth your light and your fidelity, they shall lead me on and bring me to your holy mountain, to your dwelling my soul for the living God. When shall I go and behold the face of God? Then will I go into the altar of God, the God of my gladness and joy. Then will I give you thanks upon the harp, O God, my God. Athirst is my soul for the living God. When shall I go and behold the face of God?
And he said, Amen, I say to you, that no prophet is accepted in his own country. In truth, I say to you, there were many widows in the days of Elijah in Israel, when the heavens were closed for 3 years and 6 months, when a great famine had occurred throughout all the land. And to none of them was Elijah sent, except to Zarephath of Sidon, to a woman who was a widow. And there were many lepers in Israel in the time of Elisha the prophet, and none of them was cleansed, except Naaman the Syrian. And all those in the synagogue, hearing these things, were filled with anger, and they rose up and drove him out beyond the city. And they led him all the way to the edge of the mountain, on which their city had been built, so that they might throw him down headlong. But passing through their midst, he went away. Imagine a dusty road in ancient Syria, hoofbeats thundering as Naaman rides, general of a mighty army, gold in his saddlebags, silver glinting in the sun. He's a hero, a conqueror, but beneath his armor, leprosy eats his skin, a secret rot no victory can cure. A whisper from a slave girl, a captive from Israel, changes everything. There's a prophet in Samaria who heals. So Naaman marches, expecting a king's welcome, a grand ritual. Instead, he gets Elisha's curt message: wash in the Jordan 7 times. The Jordan, a muddy trickle compared to the proud rivers of Damascus. Naaman's blood boils. He turns his chariot, spitting indignation, until his servants with their humble voices coax him back. If it was hard, you would do it. Why not this? So he wades in, dips once, twice, 7 times, and emerges, skin soft as a child, pride drowned in that dirty water. He kneels before Elisha, awestruck. There's no God but Israel's. Now shift to a quiet wilderness, a deer staggering toward a stream, its throat parched, legs trembling. That's us, the psalmist says, souls athirst for the living God. Not a statue, not a myth, but a God who breathes, who moves. When will I see his face? The cry rises, raw and desperate. Picture a man lost in a dark valley, begging for light, God's light, to guide him up the holy mountain, to the altar where joy waits, where a harp strums thanks. It's not just poetry. It's a hunger that gnaws, a thirst that drives us toward something real. Then step into Nazareth's synagogue, air thick with tension. Jesus stands, hometown boy turned preacher, fresh off reading Isaiah, liberty, good news. The crowd leans in, eyes warm. Joseph's son's got a gift. But he doesn't bask. He slices through their smiles. No prophets welcome here. They blink confused. He presses harder, voice steady. Elijah skipped Israel's widows for a Sidonian. Elisha ignored our lepers for Naaman, a Syrian. Gasps turned to growls. They wanted miracles, bread, healings, not this. He's saying God's mercy flows where faith is, not where blood ties bind. Fury erupts. They grab him, drag him through dusty streets up the hill. The cliff looms, a sheer drop to silence this troublemaker. Hands shove, shouts echo, but then he's gone. Slipped through, calm as a shadow, leaving them panting, fists empty. Let's linger in Nazareth, because this isn't just a scuffle, it's a storm that sweeps us in. Picture Jesus, sweat on his brow, facing folks who loved him, fed him, now barring teeth. He's no stranger, he's theirs, yet he won't play small. Elijah fed a foreigner, he says, when Israel starved. Tough truth, God's favor isn't a birthright, it's a response to trust. Elisha healed Naaman, he adds, nodding to our Syrian general, while Israel's lepers festered. Why? Naaman obeyed, humbled himself in that muddy Jordan, while pride kept others blind. The crowd can't take it, God's arm stretching past them. They rush him, a mob now, to the cliff's edge. You can hear the wind howl, feel the dirt grind underfoot as they push. But Jesus, he doesn't flinch. He walks through, untouchable, his mission bigger than their rage. Pull these threads together. Naaman's story in 2 Kings isn't about a bath. It's God reaching a proud outsider, stripping his ego to show power in weakness. That Jordan dip's simple, too simple for a general, but it heals because God's ways confound ours. The Psalm's thirst isn't vague, it's a soul screaming for the God who met Naaman, who meets us in our mess. And Luke's cliffhanger. It's Jesus embodying that reach, God's mercy spilling beyond Nazareth's grasp, just like it did for Naaman, for that widow. 19 days into Lent, we're in this tale. Are we Naaman scoffing at humble cures, the deer parched for more than water, the crowd clutching our turf, ready to shove grace away? Picture it unfolding. Naaman's gold couldn't buy healing, only surrender did. The psalmist's deer doesn't find a puddle, it seeks the living stream, God himself. Jesus doesn't dodge the cliff to save his skin. He escapes to save ours, to keep preaching, dying, rising. These aren't lessons, they're a drama we're living. Lent is our 19-day stage and God is reaching, calling us to dunk our pride, quench our thirst, and drop our fists. Nazareth's rage shows how hard that is. Familiarity blinds, entitlement chokes. But Jesus walks on, and Naaman's clean skin, the psalm's harp, prove it's worth it. So here we are, dust settling. Naaman's wadding in, the deer's drinking deep, Jesus is slipping through. God's not done. 19 days in, Lent is our Jordan, our stream, our cliff. Will we wash, thirst, follow? The story's gripping because it's ours. God's reach won't let go. Step in and let Easter find us renewed.